Hi there, BookTube. This is Emma from Emma's Bookish Lifestyle, and this is my 8th attempt at trying to video this video, and I've a lot out of practice. It's been a while, hasn't it? I just wanted to do a quick catch-up video. It probably won't be quick, so I'm going to apologise in advance, but it's a catch-up and currently reading video, and this has been inspired by my good friend Ollie Bliss, who's posted a catch-up video today as well. And I wanted you guys to all know that I have been part of the community. I've just been sort of in the background. There has been a couple of reasons for that. There are some lifestyle and health issues that have meant that I've had to take a step back, and I've had to kind of put myself and my family first for a period of time, and that has obviously taken its toll on my ability to be able to read, my ability to be able to do certain things. I've had a non-life-threatening health issue that I'm going to be continuing to have to deal with over the next few months. A house sale which now doesn't look to be going through because literally we have hit the expiry of our mortgage offer, and I'm not unfortunately able to work at the moment, so it's kind of bittersweet, but we will be staying where I am, which means a lot of the things that I had boxed at my parents' I now have to think about bringing back and unboxing, so that I have a bookish area for me and have my books to hand. I didn't realise quite how many books I owned until I had to put them in a box, but I'm sure there are a lot of you that can appreciate that and have been in a similar position when you've done a house move. So one of the things that I haven't been able to do obviously is to buy a lot of books. However, I have purchased 2. And both of these I'm going to talk about today. So the first one is Bellman and Black by Diane Setterfield, and this one I actually got on my Kindle. This was because Katie Lumsden was doing a group buddy read on Goodreads. That's the cover that I've got on the Kindle, and you can probably glimpse the other book that I've recently bought. And I really enjoyed it, although it's not intrinsically aimed as being written in the Victorian period because of the nature of the writing style, the kind of the work environment, the living environments of the people in the book. It very much had a Victorian feel to it, and it opens up with an event occurring between Will Bellman and a group of his friends, and they are out doing what boys do, and they have a crossbow, not a crossbow, a slingshot, and he makes a statement that he's going to be able to hit something with that slingshot, and he does. And the repercussions of that are ongoing and ever-flowing throughout the whole of this book. It is a very beautifully written book, very melodic. I found it very easy to read. I didn't find it too dry like you get with some historical fictions. No matter how much you love historical fiction, some people write it in such a way that it almost feels like you're reading an essay. It's quite dry. Quite slow paced. This didn't feel that at all. In fact, the first part of the book seemed to fly by, and that first part of the book involved his ever progressing life. So the first half we see Will grow up to a teenager, to become involved in the family business, to get married, to have children, to lose people in his life. And it's very quick paced. There are a lot of deaths, quite close succession, and a lot of impactful items that occur in his life. He meets his uncle and works out that basically his father was not actually his grandfather's son. He was an illegitimate son taken on by this man, and he had resentments and he had issues towards him, which put an unenviable rift between Will and his family while he was growing up. And his mother was very much left to bring him up alone, and can take very much credit for the kind of strong-willed and strength of character that Will has. Completely and utterly loved the character of Will Bellman. He was hard-working, he had clearly a high level of intelligence, he appreciated the opportunities that he was given, he never seemed to squander any opportunity he was given. He had a great feeling of emotion, and he was very much a three-dimensional character. He wasn't at all flat, which was essential really for the carrying of this book, because it is predominantly about Will Bellman. And it's also about his interaction with the Rooks. And the Rooks come in very early on. They're at the opening chapter of the book, a sort of a little prologue, so to speak. And then they carry on throughout with these chapters that are started with an and without being too cheesy, they are one of the most essential carriers of this book. I could not wait to get to the and chapters, because they gave us a viewpoint from a different angle. They gave you some insight into Rook characters, mythology, terminology, and just really helped build the level of darkness, gothicness, intensity that we got throughout the course of the book. And then in the second half of the book, we see Will Bellman transition from very much the family man into the older man. And although he isn't a Scrooge, he's not an Ebenezer Scrooge in any way, shape or form, he becomes more Charles Dickens based to me in character. Or the other kind of inference I felt was a bit sort of Edgar Allan Poe, you know, Telltale Heart. There was one element where they were describing the ticking of a clock, which very much felt like Telltale Heart. And he becomes darker and more internal and isolated. Self-isolation as well. This is not something that he's been forced upon. He still has his lovely daughter Dora, who, despite undergoing quite a life-threatening health issue, comes out the other end. And we then have the second part of the book is the interaction with the character Black. And as Katie said in her video, a lot of talk was had on this on the Goodreads group, and they did feel that it was a symbolism for death, for depression, mental health issues, but I also felt it was a little bit more than that. I felt that there was a kind of an intrinsic link somewhat between Dora and the Rooks. So for her progression and her development and growth of strength, she had the belief in these Rooks and the art that she was undertaking to kind of draw herself in parallel. So as her father is becoming more and more withdrawn, she is becoming healthier. And we start to see things like her eyelashes grow back and various other things. And it's a very poignant book. There are some really good descriptions of the mill workings and the characters in the mill and the nature of dyeing cloth and what's required in that. We also see the introduction in the part 2 of the Death Emporium, which is like a massive building, sort of very Harrod-esque, just filled with things to do with funerals and grieving and mourning, and the sort of the followings of that, which again very much ties it into the Victorian era with the big black horse-drawn cart or carriage that obviously people can use to go to the graveside. So I really loved this book. It was a 5-star read for me, to the point where I want to read the other 2 Diane Setterfields. I've actually had an Audible credit remaining on my phone, so I've got the 13th Tale, and I got something else, but I can't remember what the other one was. But I've got the 13th Tale in the 2-for-1 deal that I got on Audible at the moment, and I'm looking forward to getting Once Upon a River, I think is the 3rd one, which will then mean that I am up to date with her books. However, I have also been reading a couple of other books. The second in a series now. This is the Munch and Holger series, and this is the Owl Always Hunts at Night. This is by Samuel Bjorg, who is a Norwegian writer, and let me see if I can find, it's translated by Charlotte Barsland, and she's also recently translated his I'm Travelling Alone, which is his first book, which you can see here. Apologies for any shininess, this is a library cover book. As I say, I'm trying very much to use the resources around me. And this, as I say, is the second in the series. The first one, I'm Travelling Alone, was very much instigating the characters of this murder investigation team. It is a police procedural crime book. There are definitely areas in it that I would suggest might be triggers, especially in I'm Travelling Alone, because it's largely written about children. This one is a little bit more about teenagers, but still I feel that there are maybe abuse triggers in there, so if that is something that is not for you, I would not recommend it. So that's the other one that I'm reading at the moment, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I'm hoping to finish it this week, so we'll see how we go. And the last book that I'm reading at the moment, for this week at least, is Margaret Atwood's The Testaments. I finally had to give in. I was trying to read other books. I've got quite a few books out from the library at the moment, and I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait anymore. I didn't want to hear the hype. I didn't want to hear other people and their opinions on it. I just wanted to get stuck into it. And so I'm 16% through at the moment. Thoroughly enjoying it. Felt like I've slipped straight into the Gilead world without any kind of need for reintroduction or anything else. And I just absolutely found it phenomenal. And I can't wait to get to the end of it, basically. So those are my currently readings for the currently readings for the current time, people. This is what I'm reading at the moment, and I hope you're all well. I hope you bear with the sort of the newbie YouTube catch-up type video. I hope to do another one shortly in regard to October TBR, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care for now. Bye.